Hello, welcome everybody. I just had a last-minute microphone issue. I hope you're hearing me okay. I'm using a different microphone now, so tell me if there's a problem with the sound. Greetings to you. This is Tea with the Druid 141, and hello to you if you're watching the recording. Hello if you're watching it live. And I can see we have people from Seattle and Wisconsin and Atlanta and Maine and Bristol and the Swiss Alps. Hooray, fantastic. And Nova Scotia. Fantastic. Well, it's good to see you. Lovely to see you. So I'll tell you what I wanted to talk to you about today. Everybody's piling in. It's like suddenly everybody's arriving. Here's Sarah Furo and Denzel Walton from Belgium and somebody from Ireland. This is great. It's lovely to see you all. So Tea with the Druid is brought to you by the Order of Bards, Ovates and Druids. And I've been thinking about the way we fall in love with countries and how similar it is to the way we fall in love with people. And I just wanted to explore that with you. And it's led me to, I think, an interesting conclusion. I just want to see if we can share that together. And then we'll have a meditation. So let me just start by asking you some questions. Have you ever fallen in love with a country or a region? So just tell me if you have. And if you have, say which country or region it was or is, and whether you fell in love suddenly, whether it's love at first sight, or whether it grew on you, And whether within that love, in the feelings you were having, you had an intense feeling of familiarity. You know, when you fall in love with somebody, there's this, at least in my experience, there's this sense of familiarity, like you've always known this person. There's a sense of maybe déjà vu isn't quite the right word, but a real sense of knowing, a sense of recognition. That's right, that you get with the other person. And of course, if you're into spiritual stuff, you can evoke ideas of past lives and so on to explain it. So when you fell in love with a country, if you did it happen suddenly? Did it grow on you? Was there an intense feeling of recognition, a sort of déjà vu feeling? Now, here's an interesting one. Did you fall for its body, its heart, or its mind? In other words, when you fell in love with this place, was it for its scenery, its architecture, its physical beauty? Was it for its people, or was it for its culture, its history and culture, the intellectual life, its body, feelings, and mind? Same sorts of things happen with human beings, of course. Did you want to spend your, I'm sorry, I should put this as a kind of questionnaire because you're going to be tapping away. I don't know if you are tapping away, but somebody's fallen in love with Antarctica. Hooray. Fantastic. Here we go. Some more questions. A Glaswegian has fallen in love with Edinburgh. Well, this is where we get to this question of being faithful. Here we go. Did you want to spend your whole life with this country, move in with, the common thing, you fall in love with the country and you want to live there. You want to spend all your life there. So have you ever had that experience? And of course, you may have had none of these things. This is fine. It's just if it's speaking to you, right? And have you been filled with longing when you're not there? So the classic thing about falling in love, you fall in love with somebody and then you have to leave them, go away somewhere else, and you think about them a lot, you dream about them, you have a yearning to be with them. And the same thing can happen with a country. And I think this is what I'm getting at, is that these feelings you can have a yearning for a country, just as you can have a yearning for a person. You can want to spend all your lives with them, in them. Yes. Have you ever been unfaithful? By this, I mean, have you fallen in love with another country while you were still in love with the first one? Oh, difficult question. Have you ever fallen in love with another country while you were still in love with the first one? In other words, are you a serial monogamist or polyamorous? I think I've been a serial monogamist. I fell in love with Ireland when I was about 17, 18. I took a boat over to Ireland and there was a rainbow in the sky. And I just fell in love with Ireland. I wanted to live there. I went to live there. And I thought I'd stay there forever. It was the most beautiful country in the world. I loved its body, its heart, and its mind. I loved the people. I loved the culture of Ireland, and I loved the physical appearance of Ireland too. And then later on, it was Bulgaria. Many years later, I fell in love with Bulgaria, but I'd moved on. I was no longer in love with Ireland so much, and we were still friends, but they were not lovers, as it were. And then I moved on, and I fell in love with Bulgaria. I went there many years, for 14 years, and then it was New Zealand. But always being in love with England, but in a different sort of way, which is something to explore as well. So, is this making any sense to you? Let me just quickly look at somebody's in love with his planet, and I live here faithfully. You're faithful to the planet. Fantastic. We'll move on to this in a minute. I love the ocean and Celtic regions. Polyamorous, with places I feel connected to. I yearn for Ireland every day. It's the home of my heart. I fell in love with Britain. Yes, I cheated with Canada. Yes. So great. Oh, this is lovely to read. And of course, you can also fall in love at a distance without actually ever visiting, the way you can fall in love perhaps with somebody without ever having met them. Now, okay, so I think the parallels are clear. There's a lot of parallels. It's obviously very different falling in love with a person and having a relationship with a person to a place, but there are a lot of parallels. And so let's look at what that love is, what's going on. Well, I'd like to suggest that if I said to you, why do you love the person you love or the country you love? And I think we could say that there are global reasons, what you might call the gestalt. In other words, I love everything about her. I love her because she is she, you might say, or he is he. Everything about the person, I love this person or this country because of it. And that, there's this wonderful term, gestalt, which is used in psychology, and it means a sort of global sense, which is greater than the sum of the parts. You can't break it up and analyze it. It's everything and more. So there's the universal, if you like, in that you're loving. But then there are specifics. When you fall in love and there are details like the person's smile or their hands or their tone of voice or a particular habit they have or a particular turn of phrase they use that you just love, you adore it. So there are, and it's the same thing with countries. When you fall in love with a country, there may be its architectural specific. When I fell in love with New Zealand, for instance, there's the view of Wellington Harbour from the botanical gardens, and you look down on the harbour, and you have the Rimutakas, the mountains in the distance, and the sea, and I'm just in love with this view, and so on. So you have specifics and universals. Now I'm going to make the jump to the spiritual. Experts in meditation, psychologists, when they talk about meditation, they talk about how you meditate. You can meditate either with what's called open monitoring. So there's kinds of meditation where you just are open and you're connecting with your awareness and you're just sensing, you're monitoring, open monitoring, you're open. You're not focusing your attention. Your attention is wide open. You're just sitting in a Zen sense, sitting or standing, lying, and you're open and you're connected with your awareness. It's open monitoring. The other kind of meditation is focused attention, where you're focusing on a mantra, a specific image, your breathing, a body sensation, whatever. And in fact, successful meditation, I believe, moves you between open monitoring and focused attention. You modulate between the two. There's a rather nice mnemonic, Om-Fa, open monitoring, Om-Fa, focused attention. So you will focus, say, on the breath going in and out of your body. And at a certain moment, you'll be pure awareness, or you will attempt to connect with your pure awareness, open monitoring. Fa, that focused attention, Om. And that, I think, is happening in love too. Open monitoring, being open. I love everything about you. Focused awareness. I love your hands. I love your smile. I love the way you say ukulele. Whatever it is, the detail. Moving between the two. And why do we meditate? Where are we trying to get with meditation? Love. An experience of love of the universe. Oneness, a sense of the love of all life. And so for somebody who said they were in love with the whole earth, the planet, that's lovely, because there you've moved from focused attention to a specific country and saying, I love the whole earth. So let's go into a meditation now and experience this. I want to read all your comments, but I'm also aware that you're listening to me, and if I read the comments, Miss Tree or Ms. Tree says, I love the way you say ukulele, Philip. Haha. So isn't it wonderful? Isn't love wonderful that it can contain or hold the detail and the big picture, the little picture and the big picture, the little picture and the big picture. So let's use that now to connect with love of each other, love of countries, love of the whole planet. And yes, so let's do that now by just, if you feel like it, you might like to close your eyes to better concentrate on yourself. And you're aware of being seated in front of your phone or your tablet or your computer. But at the same time, you can perhaps allow that awareness to fade slightly as you become aware of being seated in a beautiful spot, maybe in a clearing in the forest, a favorite place of the Druids, the sacred grove, clearing in the forest where you feel protected by the trees around you, and yet open to the sky above you with the magic of the stars and the sun and the moon flowing down into you. And so you become aware of the earth beneath you, and you feel the stability of the earth. And you put the palms of your hands on the earth, and you feel your love of the earth. And then you become aware of the trees around you, and you sense their roots deep in the earth, their trunks soaring upward. You sense their protection, their quiet strength. And then you look up into the sky, and you feel the energy of the sky flowing down into you. And you breathe in the energy of the sky, and the energy of the sky meets the energy of the earth within the center of your being. And then sitting in this sacred grove, in this clearing in the forest, you become aware of a plant being. As you gently open your eyes, you realize that there's a plant growing, and it has a flower that's exactly in your line of vision. Maybe it's just a couple of feet away and the flower is right there. So you can focus on it really easily. It's in front of you, just 1 foot, 2 foot away. Beautiful flower. Just notice its color. If you can't see it, just imagine it, just create it. And just focus on a detail of the flower, whatever detail you like. Maybe its shape and its color. Or you might find it easier to focus on its perfume. You just breathe in and there's this magical perfume flowing into you. And just focus on that. And then intensify your focus, because then you're going to just let go. So just focus on it, and then let go. And just be open to everything around you. The atmosphere of this place, the wide open sky above you, the ground beneath you, the trees around you. And now focus again, look at the flower, or breathe in its perfume and focus. And then let go, release the focus. And be open to all of the sacred grove. And place the palms of your hands on the ground and just feel your love for the earth, your love of this land beneath you. May the earth be blessed. May the land be blessed. May all of our lives on this land be blessed. And gradually allow your awareness of being seated in the sacred grove to fade. You might like to imagine bringing your hands up from touching the earth to touching your heart, palms of your hand on your heart, feeling the warmth of your hands. You can do that physically as well if you like. And feeling that warmth in your chest, gradually open your eyes to be fully present here and now. And there's something to connect to this moment now that occurs to me, which is there's a second stage, or there's another stage in falling in love, which is as time goes on, when it starts to become familiar. Part of falling in love, part of the magic of falling in love with another country or another person is their otherness, being intrigued by their mystery, the fact that you can't fully get them, you can't fully understand them. So if you fall in love with somebody, you might say to them, I really get you, but also there's a way in which I don't get you because you're a mystery to me and I love that mystery, something like that. And then, of course, if you live with somebody, you spend some time with them, or you move to the country that you've been in love with every time you've been on holiday and you actually move there, then familiarity sets in. And then, of course, the negative aspects become, you start to notice those things about the person or the country that you didn't like. There's another interesting thing that happens when you fall in love is negative aspects are brought to your attention, but you dismiss them. There's a part of you, if you catch yourself doing this, it's quite interesting. You say, okay, yeah, I know that they've got a very annoying way that they laugh. They snort when they laugh, or they've got huge feet, or I don't know, or this country has crappy food, or I don't know what it is, but whatever it is. But you ignore that because you're so in love, you want to focus on the positive. Spend some time, and then you start to have to deal with the negative feelings. And then you have the possibility to move into mature love, as opposed to just the infatuation stage. And the thing about endless choice and variety is it can prevent us from maturing, from going deeper, from going beyond infatuation. So if you take this parallel in travel, when we were able to travel freely, it's very easy when you got a little tired of being in your own country to just go somewhere else, have a fling in with another country, just be seduced, attracted, have a relationship with another country. Come back to your own country. When you get bored, go to another country. Come back to your own country. Go. Now, with the pandemic, people are having to stay in their own country. And what I'm hearing from a lot of people is that they're starting to fall in love with their own country. They're starting to, become aware of the negatives and have to deal with aspects of their own country that they don't like, whether that's politically or environmentally or whatever. But at the same time, people are discovering new beauties and new aspects to their country. And they're able to deepen their relationship. I feel that I've deepened my relationship with Sussex and with Lewis and the area around here because I've had to spend time here, whereas normally I would flit off somewhere else every now and again. And I think that's a common experience, talking to other people. It's been a common experience. So this is a kind of hidden opportunity in the difficult and challenging times we're going through, a call to a deeper, more mature kind of love in relationship to geography, in relationship to where we are. So Shanda is saying, so true, I'm so in love with my Oklahoma. That's lovely. That's lovely. So I am so going to enjoy reading these comments. So I'm going to go and make myself a cup of tea, and I'm going to go and read your comments. And you have a wonderful week. And I think next week somebody else is here. I can't remember, but I think it is. If I don't see you next week, I'll see you in a fortnight's time. So lots and lots of love. Have a wonderful week, and bye.